You are live.
All right. So what are these rules that I have? You know, so if you have multiple FTIR spectra of the same sample, they will be nearly identical. So they will have the same number of bands. So there will be no new ones or missing ones. The bands are all going to be the same width. The position of every band on the x-axis, the frequency axis, will be identical within a resolution of 0.001% or in a relative standard deviation. So it's a very accurate device. And the ratio of the heights from band to band will remain constant. So if one's small and the other one's tall, it's always going to be that way. And so all those relationships are the same. When we look at a mixture, we have the same rules, except for there is variation batch to batch. So the fourth item, the height may vary slightly. And I'll give you an example of that. When we look at a fake product, so if you have one fewer band, or you have one more band, then it's likely a fake. It's almost with 100% confidence. And the relationship between the bands, so that ratio of height of one to another, or height of one to all the others, should be relatively constant, so likely within 5% for a well-controlled product. So easy rules to follow. Let's look at a real spectra or another spectra. So this is one of authentic material. This is 10 batches of the same material. This is a liquid over a 3-year period. And you can see that the spectra overlay almost perfectly. So no extra peaks, no missing peaks. So this is what you should see if you measure the same formulation over and over again, and you have a good quality system in place. Let's take another look at another one just to show a little bit more. So in this case, this is a product that has 2 actives, and you can look at it and you can see, again, it overlays very well. There are no added peaks and no missing peaks, but you can see where I've blown up that area that there is some variation in the height or overlay of these spectra. This is normal. This is normal, variability that you would expect batch to batch, especially if you have 2 AIs. Okay, so now I've showed you what to expect. I want you to tell me, and clearly you can't tell me, but whether something is fake. So in this case, I talked to some folks in Brazil who did some analysis using FTIR on this Durateston, which is a testosterone supplement. And they were wanting to find fakes because there was a lot of it in the market, they felt. And you can see what this Durateston is made of. So it's got the propionate, the phenylpropionate, the decanate, and the isocyanate, right? So I want to ask you the question. This is a sample that they found in the marketplace. The blue is the old one, or is the authentic one, and the red is the suspect one. You see missing peaks over here at the 1500 range, and you see a lot of differences here. So yes, it was fake, and actually the FTIR was able to tell them what active was actually present there and what some of the formulating ingredients are. So let's take a look at another one. So this is the spectra they got. Again, they get this in about 1 minute to 2 minutes of putting the sample on the detector. You overlay it with the authentic material. I don't think there's anybody in the audience who would say, after seeing how reproducible it should be, that this is an authentic product. And in fact, it is a fake, and it doesn't even contain an API. And they were able to say that it actually just contained benzyl benzoate. So the customer got nothing from this one at all. Just the last one to give you another quick example. This is another one of the fakes that they found. We overlay it with the authentic material, clearly not the same. And in this case, they did find 2 of the testosterone esters in there, and polyethylene glycol. So again, this is how easy it is to do this analysis. So moving on to the next part of this, I'll show you some fakes that I've run into that are a little more difficult. In this case, This one looks like a very good match, except for when you get into this region that's further out here. You can clearly see that there are some differences, and we know this is a fake. What we also know is that this contains the same active. So this is somebody who actually bought or created a fake formulation with the correct active in place. So likely this product worked, but it's still a fake, and it still can cause trouble because we all know the criminals will do bad things and switch products around. And in fact, that's what the next example is. In this case, this is a different active in one of our products. So you can see in this top spectrum, which is the liquid portion of it, there are 2 bands down here in the blue spectrum, which is the fake. You can see it's missing a lot of bands throughout the rest of the spectrum. When we dry down both samples, you see it on the bottom. You can clearly see these are not the same materials, and this is a clear fake. And this can be brought to a court, and any expert who understands this technology can see it, but also anybody, any judge should be able to say these don't look the same. So so let's oops, sorry about that. So let's just end this with a little bit of last few points. So all the different vendors that produce these spectrometers, they produce the same exact spectra. So you can buy it from any one of these folks, and you will get the same result. So if you're going to do this, negotiate. Same thing with the labs. Again, you have to be specific as to the technology. It needs to be the Diamond ATR technology, or at least use the same technology. But it's a cheap, inexpensive technology. The file size for these spectra are less than 50 kilobytes. So you can send these anywhere, and this allows you to, also create libraries so that you can look back or have a library of your products and then search that when you get a sample. The other advantage is you can remotely get this information and send it through the internet to an expert somewhere else in the world, and they can use their technology to identify what APIs are present. They can tell you what the formulating ingredients are. They can even tell you some of the physical differences like particle size, hardness, shape, pH, etc., if they have that information and have tried to do it. They can give you an idea about concentration too. So another place that this is useful is in a QC laboratory, just to check your product and make sure it's what you think it is. Sometimes, plant sites put the wrong formulating ingredients in, or even wrong actives into products, and you can avoid this by just a quick 2-minute test. So, but the biggest advantage that you get from FTIR is that you can quickly determine whether a suspect material is authentic or not. And because you can do this, you can avoid sending it off to get added testing done to it to determine whether it's good stuff or bad stuff. So that other testing is very expensive and takes time and requires a lab. So in conclusion, the FTIR is truly a universal detector for fakes. It may not detect really good fakes. So if somebody, creates your formulation identically, it's not going to pick it up, but there's few technologies out there that would, if any. So, we should always focus on, the majority of what's out there, which is, bad fakes, which are over 80% in my experience. It's really low cost, low maintenance, fast, easy to learn and to interpret. Everybody on the phone or everybody on this presentation now knows how to interpret an FTIR spectra. There are multiple vendors. And you can find this in any lab, and implementing this technology will allow you to save a lot, do a lot more analysis for the same amount of money, and only focus on those samples that are fakes and need to create legal cases for, and do more work. So with that, I would ask, are there any questions?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, John, for your presentation. It's been a pleasure to have you as a presenter. And the things that you have discussed with us is so knowledgeable, so good. Thank you so much. I hope that my attendees have enjoyed this. And John is here. He will be answering you all the questions. If you have, you can ask in the main chat. And now we're moving to our next presentation by Nestlite. Okay. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Have a good day.